Hello, YouTube. It's Jerry D in Tennessee. There were 8 social media influencers in a $100 million stock manipulation scheme that got charged by the SEC. So this is old news. This has happened just a couple of weeks before Christmas. As always, I'll leave a link down in the description below. So this is off the SEC.gov site. SEC charges 8 social media influencers in a $100 million stock manipulation scheme promoted on Discord and Twitter. This was released December 14th, 2022. I'm making this video January 1st, first day of the year of 2023. So the Securities Exchange Commission announced charges against 8 individuals in a $100 million securities fraud scheme in which they used social media platforms, Twitter and Discord, to manipulate exchange-traded stocks. According to the SEC, since at least January 2020, 7 of the defendants promoted themselves as successful traders and cultivated hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter and in stock trading chat rooms on Discord. These 7 defendants allegedly purchased certain stocks and then encouraged their substantial social media following to buy those selected stocks by posting price targets or indicating they were buying, holding, or adding to their stock positions. However, as the complaint alleges, when share prices and or trading volumes rose in the promoted securities, the individuals regularly sold their shares without ever having disclosed their plans to dump the securities while they were promoting them. This is like what I was talking about in my previous video. You can't go out there on Twitter and say this stock is going to hit a certain price by next week or in the next 6 months, because SEC's out there watching and they're going to come down on you. So, and there's a lot of scams like this. A lot of people buy in. They'll buy millions of shares of stocks like on fractions of a penny. Especially the penny stocks is very, very common. And they'll start pumping, there's news coming out next week, there's news going to be released next month, and get people interested in buying in and create a buying frenzy, okay? And then when the price goes up, the pumper will sell the stock, make their profit, and most of the people that's following these people are going to be left holding the bag. And that's what the SEC's trying to stop. Our complaint states the defendants used social media to amass a large following of novice investors and then took advantage of their followers by repeatedly feeding them a steady diet of misinformation, which resulted in fraudulent profits of approximately $100 million, said Joseph Sansone, chief of the SEC Enforcement Division Market Abuse Unit. Today's action exposes the true motivation of these alleged fraudsters and serves as another warning that investors should be wary of unsolicited advice they encounter online. The following 7 individuals were charged with security fraud: Perry Matlock in Texas, at PJ Matlock; Edward Constantine of Texas; Mr. Zach Morris, at Mr. Zach Morris; Thomas Cooperman. That's interesting because Zach Morris, his Twitter handle is not the same as his real name. Isn't that interesting? The first one uses his real name. The second one didn't. Thomas Cooperman, California. Oh, hey, Tommy. On Twitter. He's in California. Gary Deal in California. Notorious Alerts. Mitchell Hennessy in New Jersey, Hugh Hennon. Stephen Ravati, maybe Ravatin, of Florida. laid back John Rybarski of Texas Ultra Calls. The complaint further charges Daniel Knight, Twitter handle Dip Diddy of Texas, with aiding and abetting the alleged scheme by, among other things, co-hosting a podcast in which he promoted many of the individuals as expert traders and provided them with a forum for their manipulated statements. Knight also traded in concert with the other defendants and regularly generated profits from the manipulation. So he actually had probably the platform people were logging into in the Discord, all right, and was hosting stuff where people were having podcasts and stuff. He wasn't even pumping it. He was just involved. He was just doing a podcast involving these guys, having these guys in the podcast, and letting them talk about the stock. So he got pulled into this just because he was associated with these people. See, so you got to watch what you do. You start retweeting stuff. If somebody is saying this is going to go up to $10 or $100 a share, that's what I don't get. Is it's kind of a gray area, because somebody like me, if you're new in the stock trading and you go out on Twitter and this guy is like talking about certain stocks, and you notice every time he talks about them, the stock prices is going up, and you're like, man, this guy knows what he's doing. But you have no clue that he's already bought in when the price is way low and he's pumping it up so the price will go up. He's trying to get interest or create a buy frenzy to get the price to go up. So if you're in there, so kind of what this Daniel Knight fellow's doing, if say if you're new and you go in and you retweet, if you were retweeting any of these guys, you could potentially get pulled into this whole thing by the SEC just because you retweeted their tweets. So you got to be careful what you say and do out there on Twitter. They're cracking down on these stocks. You got to be careful. So don't get yourself in trouble. It's really easy. I mean, especially if you're new in the stock trading, if you're not been in it a while, it's real easy to get drawn into this stuff because these people put on the appearance like, man, you think, man, these guys are doing really well. There's a lot of these people out there. I mean, now I mentioned Tim Sykes, and he'll bring this kind of stuff up. He'll tell you about it. I've been following Tim for a while, and Tim talks about people doing this stuff. Tim goes looking for people doing this kind of thing, and that's how he makes his money. He'll find them out on Twitter, but he's not retweeting the stuff. He's just watching these guys out on Twitter, watching the tweets. That was just kind of odd the way they come out. Watching the tweets. Tweets. He's kind of watching these guys tweet this stuff, and he starts watching what they're promoting or what they're trying to pump. And he just watches the price and waits for the price. As the price is going up, he'll buy in and he'll be out just like that. And he'll make his quick profit, but he's not going to retweet anything they're saying. He's just watching them. So, he's actually just watching these guys, watching for these kind of guys like a hawk, watching for that stuff. And when it happens, he'll watch it and without how can I say this? Without participating in their pump. He's buying in and watching them pumping and buying in it in time and trying to get his time. And now sometimes he loses money because these people, by the time they're tweeting about these stocks trying to get the price up, these people's already bought in low. They've got their low price set in and they're waiting, they're driving the price up so they can sell. They were already in before they even start tweeting about this stuff. So a lot of times, that's how a lot of people get stuck because they're late in the game And you see their tweets, and these guys are saying, oh, this is going to be $20 by next week or next month or in the next 6 months. It's going to be $150 or $200. And get people excited, get people to buy in there. And then these guys are dumping while you're buying in, and you're left holding a stock that the price is dropping, because when they start selling and dumping their shares, they start dropping the price because they're taking the next bid on the stock. They're taking the lowest price to get out of it and make their money, just to dump their shares. So be careful. Be careful. It's very easy. This is how a lot of people lose money in stocks. Don't give people, don't help these guys get rich. Don't get stuck holding the bag for some of this stuff. You got to watch this stuff. The best way is just kind of sit back and watch the news for some of these companies, and you know, it's very easy to get drawn into this stuff. I did a story on a guy a while back that got in trouble over that stuff. The SEC arrested him, and it's just sad, you know. And I kind of you know, got to liking the guy's tweets. He seems to be okay, but I mean, you know, when you're watching the tweets, it's not obvious what they're doing. So and you know, I hate to see anybody get in trouble, but you know, they're taking money out of people's. I mean, they're just letting people hand money over to them. That's what you're doing when you buy into their stuff. You're handing them your money, and you may be holding that stock for a long time. That stock may disappear. They may, you know, that stock may just get delisted, and then you lost your money. So be careful. Be careful what you do. I'm going to leave a link for this in the description below, but I think I'm going to, let's go to Twitter. Let's go to Twitter. And let's look at PJ Batlock. He has 338.9K followers. All right, so 300. Mr. Zach Morris. That's not what I wanted to do. There you go. 545,000 followers. That's 800,000 followers. Let's look at Oh Hey Tommy. Oh, that account's gone now. Well, almost 800,000. I mean, just from the first two. I mean, almost 1 million people. I mean, think about this. You've got that many people following these guys. The potential to move a stock price, they don't have to do much of anything. They don't have to do much of anything. Let's see. At Notorious Alerts. That's it right there. 142. So that gets you to 1 million right there. 1 million people. 800, 900. That's probably close to 1 million people right there. 1 million people trading on the tweets that they were talking about. And you look at that. Is that a McLaren sitting there? There's something that's like a high dollar car that he's got sitting there. Like, yeah, so they got like Lambos and stuff and talk about, oh, they're living the good life, hanging out on the beaches, trading stocks. Oh, they got it figured out how to make the big money. They're going to show you how to make the big money. And you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful out there. It's very easy to lose money. That's why I tell you, don't invest anything that you can't afford to lose. Keep what's important. Make sure you still have a roof over your head, lights on, food on the table, and clothes on your children. Because investing in stocks is about the same as going to the casino and betting on a blackjack table or something. Unless you really are watching the company and the news for the company in your stock charts. If you watch the stock charts, you can see what the price action's doing and get into a stock. But sometimes, even though you're watching stuff, it's beyond your control because the stock may not always do what you would like for it to do. It's like I bought an AT&T. I mentioned in the previous video, AT&T, paid $20 a share for AT&T. It dropped down to around $15 a share. Now it's jumped back up around $18. It's hovering around $18, $19 a share after a TipRanks. I think it was a TipRanks article talking about it could get up to about 28 by sometime next year, and I still think the price can come back up on AT&T because they're talking. There's been rumors about them talking with Dish Network, maybe some kind of joint agreement, joining forces. They may merge the companies into one. Now, does AT&T become Dish Network, or does Dish Network just get absorbed by AT&T? I don't know. I don't know what'll happen, but I'm still drawing dividends because AT&T stock pays dividends, quarterly dividends. So I'm still drawing money off of my shares, even though I'm at a loss right now. There's still money coming in off of my investment, and as long as I'm not sold, I'm not lost. So the plan is I've got a sell order sitting and waiting for it to go. When it hits $28, I'm out of it. But I've got an order set every 60 days. I renew the order. I could probably set it ahead. I think they'll let you set an order ahead to maybe up to 2 years, something like that. It's a limit. You can only go so far ahead and let it sit there for so long. I think the limit is 2 years. Is the max that I've went on an order. But just in case I'm not watching the stock, and the reason I set an order to sell at the certain price, when you hit a certain price, if I've got a public job, I can't sit there and watch that chart all day. I may have other things going on. I can't sit there and watch the chart all day. So I set the order, what my price I want to sell at, which right now for AT&T is $28. The same price that TipRanks has set. Now, if I wait for a while, for a couple of years, it just depends. If I get back where I'm in the green and I'm still drawing, the dividends are doing good as far as I may just sit in it. Because my dividends on that money, the $20,000 I have into AT&T, is drawing more dividend money, returns, than what interest in a practical savings account would. That's why I put it in the AT&T. AT&T's an old name. They're not going anywhere. AT&T's going to be around for a while. I think they absorbed DirecTV, I think that AT&T and DirecTV are the same company, or maybe DirecTV's a sister company. They bought them or something, but AT&T's an old name, household name. It's been around for a long time. They got cell service. They got satellite service. They used to sell landlines. I think there's less and less people on landlines anymore. But anyway, I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, they're in, they've got the intention they're going to stay in business for a long while. But my point is, it dropped. I did not sell when it got down to 15. I'm still holding. I'm still in the red because I bought at 20 and it's around $18, $19 a share. So I'm still down $1 to $2 depending on what day it is. So, but I'm making dividends back off my number of shares. There's a dividends that get paid every quarter for you holding their stock as a reward for having stock in the company. And that's just another way to make money. So, anyway, that being said, you got to watch. You know, you can play the Tim Sykes thing, and you can go in and how you find these guys. I thought about doing a video, but I might get smacked. But it's fairly simple. I mean, Tim Sykes is, you run a scanner on your brokerage on the spikes for the day, the stocks that's going up for the day, and just put a $sign in front of the ticker symbol on the search in Twitter and find out who's talking about it, and then find the people that's got the high number of followers. And those are the guys that are promoting the stock that's spiking. You can watch them. After that point, you get a list of stock spikes over a period of time, and you have a list of people that you're watching, and you can watch what they're pumping and buy in, and just don't even retweet the stuff. And that's kind of how some of these gurus are making money. They're watching for these people, and you just find the highest number of followers on these people is what you do, and you watch what they're pumping, and you watch the stocks that they're pumping, and you watch the price, and when you see the price starting to go up, you buy into it before, as it starts going up, and at a certain point you say, okay, if I could make 10% on my money, if I could make 20% of money, you're in and out quick. That's what Tim will jump in and out. And sometimes, like I said, the stock won't do what you want it to do. It'll start dropping because these guys are dumping their shares as people are buying and making their money because they're in the green. And it might start going down. So like Tim Sykes says, you cut your losses. So when it starts dropping, as soon as you get in the red, you better get out and lose, or you could be holding the bag for a while. So anyway, I'm not suggesting anybody do that. I'm just telling you that's how they do it. How some of these stock gurus are doing it. And just be careful. That will get you, if you're trying to make a 10, 15 day $100,000 or something, you think you're going to make a lot of money in the short amount of time, you can lose a lot of money in a short amount of time. You can lose it faster than you can make it. You gotta be quick. You gotta get in and out fast to make that technique work. And most people lose money doing that technique. So be careful. The whole point of this video is be careful. There's people out there. There's people out there running cons that's to get rich quick cons. And right here is an article. I'm going to post it. I've done showed you just a few of these guys is over 1 million followers, 1 million people trading on their tweets. 1 million people. 1 million people can drastically move a stock price if they're all buying in the stock at the same time. If when these guys created a buying frenzy, stock price started spiking. As soon as the stock price started spiking, these guys were dumping, and as they're dumping, because they've got millions of shares, the price starts dropping, and the guys that's following these guys, the poor souls that are following these guys, they've bought in, they've handed their money to these guys, and the price has dropped because these guys have dumped the stock. The price drops down below what their followers have bought into it, and they're in the red, and they're holding the bag. They're bag holders is what people call them. So, just making this video, not trying to get sued, not pointing fingers or anything, but this is what it is. This is fact. These SEC has charged these 8 people, these accounts, these influencers. Again, I think one of them, one of them, the account was already deleted. He probably deleted his account thinking that they wasn't going to get him, but I'm telling you, when the SEC moves in on these people, on somebody, they've contacted Twitter or whatever, or they've taken screenshots of your tweets. They have physical evidence to prosecute you when they go after you. They will not go after you till they've got enough to put you in jail or put a fine on you or something to give you a consequence. So be careful. Watch what you retweet. Do not be saying this stock's going to be, it's going to go up 100%. There's always potential for stocks to go up, and I'll talk about stuff, and I'll say, well, look, this stock used to be this price. I can see it going up to this price again when it turns around. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin could get back up to 67, 68,000 or even higher. Some people claim it's going to be 100,000, and it could. It just depends on when the economy turns around. If the economy, it will. It'll eventually turn around. It might take a while. It might take a year. It might take 2 years for it to turn around. But when the economy turns around, Bitcoin's going to go back up. How high will it go? I don't know. Nobody really knows. A lot of people thinks it might hit 100,000. But do we know for sure what it's going to hit? No, we don't know. Nobody knows what it's going to do. We won't know till it happens. And the investors that are buying into like Bitcoin and just like any kind of stocks, penny stocks and stuff, nobody knows what the price is going to be. The investors determine it's based on what somebody's willing to pay for the shares at the time. The highest price that a person's paid at the time is the price of the stock. The lowest price at the time that somebody's paid out for the stock is going to be the price of the stock. The investors are what's controlling the price of the stock. It's as simple as that. It's what it is. Now you got other things in the works that affect it. People shorting the stock, which is people that's betting against the stock. People playing options, which calls and puts. So one kind of option is you're betting for the stock to go up to a certain price, and if it goes up to that certain price, you get paid a premium because you've been told that you could buy at this cheaper price and you're going to get the difference in it. Or if you're betting against the stock, you're saying the stock's going to drop this much, then you're going to get paid a premium because you're right. It did price. You're going to actually, the other people that invested in the stock, they're handing their money over to you, or the brokerage is handing their money over to you at a premium. So there's a lot of things that affect this stuff, and this right here, the SEC's really be careful what you do. It's like this Daniel Knight guy. He was just doing a podcast. He probably, Daniel Knight might have been, and I'm not trying to get sued or anything, but this is just my opinion, okay? I'm not a stock advisor, not a financial advisor. I'm not on the inside of this. I don't know what conversations went on between these people, but the thing is, this guy may have been an innocent bystander, all right? And these folks have been promoting that they're successful stock traders. This guy's like, man, I'm going to do a podcast. I want these guys on my podcast because they seem to be successful, and I think it'll help my podcast to grow. So he got pulled into this whole mess as with aiding and abetting, helping these guys promote these stocks that they were. So, probably innocently. I don't think he may not have bought into the stocks. He may not have had any of the stock. He might have just been talking to these guys about what they think that let them talk about the stocks that they want people to invest in or to suggest. And to him, he just thought he was just doing a podcast just for people to, that's interested in stocks to find out what would be a good buy. And he got pulled into this whole thing. So Be careful what you do. Especially when you're on social media, because Big Brother's out there watching you, folks. But again, like I said, on a previous video, TipRanks is claiming, this other stock going, and you can watch my previous video, to be at $950 a share when it's like $141 a share or something like that at close before the weekend, going up to be $950 or more a share. Some of these financial Bloomberg and Wall Street Journal, I'm not trying to get sued or anything, but some of these guys talk about the price is going to a certain point. So to me, that's a gray area, because they're kind of doing the same thing. Because when they start talking about, this stock is going to go up, well, like I said about TipRanks, so there was an article about TipRanks that got released. Somebody said that they felt that AT&T was going to get up to $28 a share. I bought in at $20, thinking, well, okay, if it goes up $8, that's good. When it hits $28, or as long as I'm green, I might sit in it and just keep drawing dividends off of them. I guess where you cross the line is these guys are buying into these penny stocks and stuff at a cheap price, and they're just actually pumping. And some of it's probably shell stocks. Is where they really got in trouble with. But that being said, the SEC wouldn't have went after them unless they've got copies of tweets they've made on their Twitter accounts before they even went after these guys, before anybody was able to delete their accounts or delete any tweets. They had everything they needed when they went after these guys. I guarantee you the SEC had everything they needed to prosecute these guys before they even went after them. I guarantee you. So, that being said, don't be one of these innocent. Don't be a David Knight. I mean, I don't know if he was in with these guys, if he was actually helping them, or if he was innocently doing a podcast. He could have been innocently doing a podcast because these guys seem to be successful traders, and he thought they had a good reputation, and he thought it would just be a good fit for his podcast. It could have been that. But I don't know the conversations that went on behind the scenes. I don't know if Daniel Knight had bought into any of the stocks before they were pumping anything, or anything about that. I don't know the whole situation. But I'm just saying, you could get pulled into something like this by accident if you go out and you're retweeting. If you go out and you're watching some of these guys and they're promoting a stock, and you go out and you're retweeting their tweets and they're saying this is going to be $150 when it's like 10 cents a share, and they're claiming it's going to be $150 in the next year or 2 years or something like that, you could get yourself in big trouble. So just be careful. Just be careful. So, I'm going to leave the link to this article. Feel free to look at how many people these guys. I invite you to go out to Twitter and look at these accounts up. They're listed right here in this article. Instead of me looking them up and putting links to them, if you're interested, just look at them and look at their tweets on the accounts that are still active. All of them may not be active anymore. But just wanting to bring this out to talk about. It's just real easy. Just watch who you follow, and just be careful when you're trading stocks. You could be left holding the bag. You could be a bag holder. It's easy. It's easy to get drawn into this stuff and start. These people look legit. I mean, these guys are showing pictures of Lambos and stuff, and the SEC's cracking down on these people that's doing stuff like that. So be careful. Be careful. It's like a Humble Trader, a lady that I like to watch. Humble Trader. She's like, Oh, I'm not showing you a nice Lambo and telling you you're going to be a millionaire in 6 months, and I'm not charging you a price to follow my trades. And she's not telling you what to buy. She's showing after the fact what she traded into and why she bought it, to teach people what she was looking for, to give you an idea of what you should look for when you're trading. And that's why I like to follow Humble Trader. So I'll give her a plug for that, and I really do like watching her stuff. She's a very, very intelligent young lady, and she's upfront and honest, and she's not been in any way doing any of this right here, what these guys got in trouble for. So, just saying, be careful. Just wanted to do a quick video of this, because it is a real thing. Well, it wasn't that quick. It looks like I'm in the 35 minutes, over 35 minutes on this video. It's longer than what I thought I was going to make. But I always get long-winded, and I apologize for that. But if you're watching my video and you stuck it out this long, thanks for watching the video. Thanks for your support. I just want to make the video just so people will be aware of this kind of thing. I mean, there's a lot of people doing stuff like this out there, so be careful. Anyway, hope you folks had a good New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and I hope this new year is a profitable one. I wish that there'd be many blessings come your way in this new year. So thanks for watching my video, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a stock advisor. I'm just a crazy old man in East Tennessee talking about stocks and crypto. But anyway, you have a good night, and thanks for watching my video. Bella's got to be right up under me, don't you, Bella? Oh my word. Cloudy day, looks like it may rain. Clouds out over the valley. East Tennessee Valley. And Bella, she's just happy to be around.